Okay, so I am so very excited. This is the first ever MCO live chat with the coach. First ever. And I have with me Angelika Mativ. She's an amazing coach. She's actually my coach. And I mean, there couldn't be anyone more fitting to be my first guest on the MCO live chat with coaches. So I want to tell you why. I want to tell you what it is what caused me to do this. I really feel like I have a great opportunity because I get to speak to so many coaches. And no matter where they are in their coaching career, everyone has the same problem. Everyone has the same questions. They really do. It's just a matter of figuring it out for their brand and their business. One of the biggest things, though, is that everyone is siloed. They're working alone, even more so after the years coming out of COVID. And you don't really know what other people are doing, what issues they're having. You're not really connecting. And I thought, you know what, we need to have some kind of forum where people can see not just the coaches that are coaching thousands, but those of us who are here coaching your regular everyday people. Whether they are coaches or they're not coaches, or maybe they don't know they're coaches yet, because I really do believe everyone is a coach. We're just coaching the regular everyday person. We don't have rooms filled with thousands of people. And I wanted to speak to the heart of coaches everywhere and say, this is doable. And I want to talk to people who are actually doing it and making it happen and letting you share your story because I really feel that people will be inspired by it. Now, the other twist for me, though, is I like a story that's unique. And what you do, Angelika, is extremely unique. I've not seen it anywhere else. I've not seen it in the way that you do it. It is, I don't know if transformative is a better word for it. Like I think that there has to be something else, but it definitely is transformative. And as we talk, I'll share more about why I think that. But thank you, Angelika, for being here with me today.
Thank you so much, Kim, for the opportunity, for having me. It's a pleasure to be your guest and to have a chance to speak with your wonderful audience about topics that I'm sure we're all thinking one way or another, day
Definitely
and
are.
probably night, because being a solopreneur is a journey that doesn't really have time off or weekends. So I'm
It
sure we
doesn't.
can all relate to that. So thank you again.
Oh, you are so welcome. I'm excited about this. So let's just start with getting familiar a little bit, right? Tell me a little bit. Let's start with just the generals. Like, where are you? Tell me a little bit about who you are as a person.
Right. Well, I currently live in Spain, but I'm not Spanish. I was born in Europe, yet my whole life story revolves around traveling, moving, and experiencing different social and cultural realities around the world. First, with my parents, because they traveled a lot due to their jobs. I lived in Africa for a few years. Then, making my own choices, I decided that I need to discover new places and learn new things. So I moved to North America. I lived in the States and in Canada for over a decade,
God,
worked
world
in
traveler.
corporate in different industries. And then I moved back to Europe, somewhere in the middle geographically between the world separated by the big water, right? So I discovered something else here, very different from everything that I was familiar with at the time. So all these adventures invariably led to the development of different cultural identities, learning languages, of course, but also understanding how people experience life and what is really that common denominator, which beyond the differences of language and nation and geography are common to all of us as human beings. And after moving here, I went through a deep transformation myself, some personal events that changed my life entirely. lost loved ones to cancer in a short period of time. And then I had to rebuild my life and start
Mm.
over in my late 40s, which wasn't something I was expecting at the time. However, I knew that this is a whole new, not just a chapter, but a whole new book for me. And I rebuilt my life personally and professionally. And once I was out of this dark night of the soul period, as I usually call it, I put together everything I learned during that time. And I realized that all these changes have been given for me not as any form of punishment or something that had to ruin me. On the contrary, I was able to understand myself like never before. And I realized that it's possible by using certain tools and by embracing the idea that we all possess a lot of personal power and a lot of reasons to continue to start over when necessary, and most importantly, to pursue our dreams. And my dream was, after working, like I said, in so many different industries, to become a service provider, combining my skills and expertise for people who might need this kind of guidance and support that I wish I had when things were
Right?
difficult for me.
Oh, yeah.
So I was exactly, I was blessed with the opportunity to finally become what I always wanted to be, counseling astrologer, a mentor, inner work mentor, teacher, and as I call it now, holistic growth coach. So
Oh,
that's
yeah.
my story in
That's
a
true.
nutshell.
That is true. You said something that was very powerful. You talked about um, basically dealing with tragedy, right? And the truth
Hmm.
is, I think that is the common denominator. Those things are usually unexpected, but it is where we're going to get our deepest growth if we embrace it. And they're
Absolutely.
always transformative, but in a way where you kind of figure out your real self,
Hmm.
right?
That's it.
You
That's
get
it.
closer to it.
Absolutely. Human nature actually doesn't allow to for us to learn much when things are easy, and we need some kind of push, we need some kind of catalyst to bring us to a point where we really have to make choices and understand what we're made of. And then by knowing that we're always driven by something which, I don't know, people call it with different names, higher power, let's say, that
Yes.
helps us to get where we're supposed to be. So if we align ourselves and our choices and our journey with that path, then it's truly possible to achieve things that maybe at another time seemed out of reach. So I truly believe that everyone, if they put their mind into something that really matters to them, they can be a source of great value and contribute for the world to be a better place, truly.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That is what it's all about, right? The things, and these are the things that really we all have in common. So
Hmm.
I want to talk a little bit more about your coach journey because you touched on it a little bit. Tell me what, what was that journey like? And I mean, you have a lot of background coming together to be the powerful coach that you are. I think it's important. I want everyone to understand that because it's almost like an eclectic mix. You wouldn't really expect it, but it's perfect. It really is. Let's talk a little bit about your coach journey. When you became a coach, what excited you about it? I'm interested to know, when did you first come to know about coaching and what it was?
Hmm. Well, actually, when I first realized that there is such thing as coaching, it was really at the time when coaching wasn't that popular yet. But the work that I was doing, working in those corporate businesses, always involved some kind of training, guidance, teaching, instructing.
Yeah.
So I think the coach was within me. I just had to discover it, like, right? I think, who was it? Michelangelo, that said that every stone has a statue inside. It's just a matter of uncovering it. So
Yeah.
it was something that I realized I really like doing. And because I could see almost immediate results when people were supported, not to be given the solutions per se or be told what to do, but just when they are encouraged to embrace their own power and ability to find those solutions. It's truly amazing how the right guidance and support can be helpful. So I started thinking about what can I do to combine my three main passions in life, which were always astrology, psychology, and coaching. And I was very clear that I cannot choose between the three and do just one. I had to find a
Yeah.
way to combine them. And I also realized that they're not mutually exclusive. On the contrary, it's possible to do all of it. And because I've always known that astrology is a lot more than just predictions or everything that kind of oversimplifies its meaning and value, that there is a deeper dimension to it. Then I discovered methodologies that I committed myself to studying under different mentors so I can learn how psychological astrology, which integrates therapeutic approach, counseling, and traditional astrology to form something which is unique, and it's so powerful because it helps understand the individual and their inner world, and then provide coaching based on that specific blueprint which every person has, and it reflects their own personality, their own needs, and that in turn helped me understand how I can be a lot more effective instead of just offering just coaching, but adding this other modalities and combine everything, creating a program with different modules. And in this way, I can serve better, I can understand better, and I
Mhm.
can definitely help my clients achieve the desired outcome. So,
So, okay, so you said so many powerful things. I'm jumping out of my seat. So, okay, so you said something really powerful because, psychological astrology. How many people have ever heard that term? I've never heard it before you, right? However, through my experiences with you, I understand the power of that. And what's important here is that these are the tools that work for you, these modalities, right? And as a coach, if you don't have modalities that work for you, you're I want to be nice, right? But you're missing out, right? Because
yes.
that is the way you help people. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm curious, because sometimes these different topics, different things can be maybe even taboo for some people, right?
Mm-hmm.
What caused you to lean in? I know that you had a curiosity about astrology, um,
Mm-hmm.
about psychology. Many, there are people who have a thing about psychology, like, I don't know about that, right? What caused you to lean into those things?
Right. Um, I discovered astrology when I was very young, and then I immediately felt that this is the source for the many answers I was looking for at that time. And quickly, it became clear to me that people have so many misconceptions about it. So of course, there is the so-called pop astrology that people can find in magazines, and they read certain things about 12 types of or groups of people, which honestly is so surface level. Like you said, I want to be nice, right?
Right.
So, but then through research, I discovered that prominent thinkers, psychologists, philosophers even spend time studying the potential of how to connect different systems that reflect our connection as human beings to nature and the cosmos to find more answers about the human condition, about what's really going on in the complex world of the psyche. And I studied the work of Carl Jung for a while, and he talks extensively about the role of astrology into any kind of journey of self-discovery, including healing. And then, of course, I focused on that and I discovered a lot more about it. And fortunately, at the time, already schools and training online academies existed. So I dedicated myself to learning anything I could. And it was a rigorous process of a very deep studies, but I'm so glad I did it because it opened up a new dimension of understanding. And now I know that when I want to coach someone, I am not doing this from an approach that is kind of a self-help, methodology oriented that should work for everyone, because it doesn't, because we're so different. Every person is a universe, and
Yes.
knowing the reflection of the inner dynamic, which usually goes in the form of inner conflicts, the personal narrative, the personal mythology that everyone is using to form their specific view on the world. And from there, through certain drives, beliefs, and motives, to create their own idea about themselves, about the world, and other people. So, of course, a lot of this has to do with childhood. There comes psychology, right? We need to
Right.
explore the effect of formative years. So all that presents us with a clear picture of one individual psyche that wouldn't respond the same to methods for self-help, healing, and growing that would work for another person, because there is so much energy dynamic involved. And from the perspective that I'm describing here, from the psychological perspective
Yes.
in astrology, the zodiac is actually interpreted as an archetype of the self, with the
Mhm.
different facets through the different signs and planets, which, again, another misconception is that planets cause events. No, floating rocks in space don't cause, but they do represent, this universal law of correspondence. Just like we react to the seasons of nature, to every phase of the moon, to anything that is happening on earth through gravity and our connection with the entire movement of our solar system, the same way our psychology also connects and is reflected in its different expressions to the archetypal units of an astrological sign, its corresponding planet, and the sector of the chart that explains certain events in a specific life area. So all this knowledge, I wanted to use this and make it the foundation of my coaching, because I always wanted to be a coach. I didn't want to be just an astrologer,
Right. Yeah.
or just a counselor, because I think these are great ways to help people. Yet, if there is an opportunity to put everything together, why not try something new which integrates these disciplines, right?
Right.
And because coaching was so important to me as part of my description and value proposition, I also spent some time learning about the trends in coaching. I did a course and got certified on virtual coaching methodology called Next Level. And so I added that to my credentials. I want to make a little note here.
Yeah.
Credentials are important, but they're not the guarantee for the main ingredient that makes
Thank
a
you
great
for saying
coach.
that.
Okay. So
Right.
I believe credentials are only serving as proof that a service provider took their job seriously enough to go deeper and make their skills and
I
capabilities
love
even
that.
more valuable to potential clients. Not to flash, some diploma or some paper to impress people. That's not the purpose of it. There's so many natural born coaches, and they're ready to coach
I agree with that.
tomorrow without going through any schools. However, honing our skills, and I wouldn't say that I learned how to coach from this course or any other course, but I learned how people respond, how it's important to approach them, how to package, market if you want, to increase that connection and probability of really attracting the right people, and how to serve and help them best. So definitely certifications and courses have their purpose, but they should be just, the last part added to an already existing ability, expertise, and personal wisdom that a coach would bring to the table, right?
Yeah, let's dissect that a little bit because you did go through a lot of different trainings, right? And
Yes.
one of the things that I firmly believe, I've told people all the time, I will be a forever student, right? I
Mm,
will forever find things that fascinate me, that I want to learn more about, that I want to take a deeper dive with. Um, that has it's just my makeup, right? And
right.
when you talked about, you know, learning more, the thing that and you talked about how you put all these things together, the word that came to me, like what coaches do, is we offer empowerment, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's what we offer. And so again, you go back to these tools, these modalities. That's why it's important, because people need to walk away from you knowing how to implement all that information, how to use it in their life.
Mm-hmm.
If they don't know how to use it in their life, it's a wasted conversation. It's just
Exactly.
talking. It's like watching, binging on Netflix, right? That's what it's
Absolutely.
like.
Yes.
So it's very important to have tools so that you come empowered, and it also helps you to help people understand more, and move further. The point of coaching is that we help people get further faster, right? That's
That's it.
it. Right?
That's it.
People who are searching are going to get somewhere. They're going to graduate. They're going to learn something new. But when they're
Mm-hmm.
getting coached, they should get there faster. And
Mm-hmm.
if you are taking your craft seriously, you are going to continue study. I'm with you. Certifications mean you studied something, but I tell everyone, no matter what doctor you go to, somebody graduated with a C.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's true, right?
That's it.
So,
That's
and not every person that graduated a course is the right person for you to click with. Everything is relative, right? Energy to me is everything, and you need to have the right energy. I recall when I first started psychotherapy, I was 19, and no one told me about the process. First of all, it was taboo for Black people to see therapists. It's like, oh my God, the person is crazy, like literally like crazy. Like that is, and that still goes on in the African American community. Like that's just true. But I was 19, I needed it. And but I didn't know that you had to search for a therapist the same way you would search for a friend, right?
mm-hmm.
You're not going to click with everyone. And so when I would meet with people and I would walk away like, I don't know, I don't want to talk to them. I thought something was wrong with me until I found the right one, right? And the difference was, though, he was smart, he picked up quickly, and I walked out and I felt, okay, I can make change, right? And that's why the continued study is important. And I'm so impressed with you always because you're super smart, like
Oh,
wild, wildly
thank you.
smart. And I love smart people. But you pick up quickly, you use your tools, and you're able to hone in. Boom, like here's what I see, here's what's going on. Let's talk about this further. And I walk out of a session with you and I have all this armed information on the areas of my life, like, okay, yeah, I can lean in here further. Here, I don't have to do this right now, which is good because I didn't really want to have to do this. I'm able to put order to my life.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I think that's one of the
That's
most
what it
powerful
comes
things,
to.
right?
Yes. Yes,
Yeah.
100%. Thank you so much for saying all these beautiful things, Kim. And I told you that when we talked in our sessions, but you know how much I admire your work too, because you do something unique for coaches too. Being the voice for coaches is an absolutely amazing way to help and promote what is, they call it, the industry of the future, right? Yet there's so many questions still unanswered, and through your work, because that's how we met, and everything that you provide as opportunity is so inspiring, and
Thank you.
I look forward to doing more of this, so you and I, in our own abilities, can help people continue, decide, embark, and go on that journey without hesitation, because it's not an easy one. It's a roller coaster. Let's be uh,
Right.
truly
Right.
honest about it, but
Right.
it's so worth it. And I just want to go back a little to something you
Yes.
said, which brought a word to mind. Talking about how you need to find the right person, and what really makes a great coach, that the client would immediately pick, you know, on when they get the first point of contact. I'd say authenticity has a lot to do with it,
Everything.
because the client comes to this session driven by the authentic need to find solutions, right? So people wouldn't pay money and spend time with someone just to talk about how happy they are. It's great, right? But
Right.
but it's a need driven, solution need driven action to hire
Right.
a coach, a therapist, right? And when we are facing an issue, when we need to break a cycle of any kind of repetitive negative occurrences in our life, this puts us in a state of being really objective, frank, open, vulnerable, but very authentic, because we cannot expect to find a solution if we try to sugarcoat the situation, just like when we go to a doctor for any kind of physical discomfort, right?
Right.
So, in order for the connection to really work between a client and a coach or therapist, the therapist should bring the same, the coach should bring the same
Yes.
kind of authenticity, meaning they shouldn't pretend to be someone else or more than they are, and trying to impress the client with only talking about credentials or using some kind of ready, made pieces of advice or something they read somewhere. That is immediately, you know, identified as
Exactly.
no, no, no. That's not my
That's not
thing.
coaching.
So even
Right.
if the motivation behind it is to make the best impression possible, if not authentic, it's not going to work, because people relate to other people. And I think sharing our own journeys and personal stories really puts at ease the client, because let's admit it, when the client comes with a problem to talk to a coach, there is this initial feeling of being at different levels. Like, I'm the one who cannot solve my problems, and then the coach has it all figured out. So
Correct. Right.
she's kind of higher than me. No, no, no. It's
No.
not like that. We're
Yeah.
all work in progress. And I think if a coach makes a claim that they figured it all out, I personally wouldn't be interested, because that means they made a choice to stop really living and learning, like you said. So
Yes. Mhm.
yes, as coaches, because of personal experience, because of professional experience, we happen to be more advanced in the journey of self growth and personal evolution, and that's why we share with those who need it what we've learned. But it doesn't mean a coach should think of themselves in any way, superior
It's not.
to the
Yeah.
client,
It's
right?
interesting because there are people that I have spoken to that are not coaches that will say, well, if the coach doesn't have their life together, and I'm like, okay, so you're totally devaluing a person because
Mm,
there's an area where they might struggle. That's human. That's being human, right? Show me
exactly,
a person who
absolutely.
has no issues in life at all, and I'm going to tell you someone who's not really living. That's
Mm,
true, right? That's the only way you can exist in this world is to just literally exist. But if you are living, you're going to come across challenges. That's just a part of life. It is being able to cope with those challenges, being able to figure out ways to move forward in spite of, and not always fighting against them, but sometimes leaning in and letting the experience hit you, because sometimes it's what you need, right?
yes,
Especially
yes,
when there's a
that's
theme, right? To
that's
the issue.
beautiful. Absolutely. Well, that's why they say the best healer is the wounded healer, the one that
That's right.
was wounded and was able to heal.
And do the
So
work.
now they can really share, and they know what it feels like to be in the shoes of the person who is facing similar issues. But Uh, you know what, because you asked me earlier what brought me to coaching. I knew that I intuitively understood how valuable this could be, and I knew I have the skills already to which I can add whatever's needed so I can become a very effective and valuable coach for my clients. But then there are a few things that I like to mention here because we're talking about the coaching journey, right?
Yes.
And honestly, I had my fair share of trying to figure it all out on my own at the beginning. Turns out being a great coach doesn't make you ready for being a great entrepreneur
Poof.
and a business owner, right?
Yes.
So I realized that if I ever want my gifts, skills, and abilities to be delivered to people, I have to go through a process which involves learning from someone who knows that part of the art of bringing, coaching as a legal form of helping people, especially in a world where the old model of the brick and mortar office is almost not existing anymore. So that's why I chose to get that certification in coaching for a virtual coach specifically, because it has different ways of practicing, right? So I had to learn how to be a coach online. So I invested in working with a business coach. And it was quite a journey, but I'm so grateful because I learned a lot of this digital culture online that requires knowing what to do, how to do it. So what you can actually give to people as the your own expertise is done in a way that can bring results. Otherwise, I could just dream about it and never make it happen. So
That's
that was one thing that I did, and then I also, once I was clear what the format of this could be, I realized that it's so important to do this inventory and evaluation of what I can really do well. You know, this famous Japanese formula, they call it ikigai. That's a Japanese word, which is your own highest form of art of something you can do that
mm,
the world needs and that you can get paid for. So I
right.
went through this exercise and I realized that the skills I have are really compatible and I can put them together in the form of service offers and a program that I can help people with. And after I did all that, going through bringing, my business online as a structure that can function well, and I had my credentials and I had the confidence of knowing how this is done, came the moment when I had to actually start doing it, right? And
Right.
and that was another round of the roller coaster because we can learn and read so much, but the actual hands-on experience is very different. So
Correct.
I continue learning, and to this day, I keep learning from every experience and every client I work with. I'm so grateful for that opportunity because I believe that every coach can greatly benefit if we need to listen, we need to extract that special something from each individual story that can help us understand people better, see what brought that client to us specifically. Because when I was trying to create my so-called avatar, I honestly I couldn't pin it down based on the demographics criteria simply because I couldn't limit what I offer to a certain age or social group, right?
That's right.
So I focused on the psychographic aspect of it, which is to me, my clients are seekers of self-knowledge who want to understand themselves, their purpose, and they want to live a life that is authentic and is aligned with their spiritual values as well. So that helped me prepare myself to work because I work with both. Maybe that's a bit counterintuitive, but that's the reality of my business. I work with both men and women. I have clients 27 and 57 and everything in between, and they're from different countries, right? So I think it's good to have a niche and to have an avatar, but this is a little something I want to share from my own, again, experience. If the client base that we create, the people we attract, don't fit the profile we create necessarily as avatar, we should adapt and adjust to this, not try to adjust our practice
Right.
by focusing only on what we decided would work
Agree.
for the niche we chose. So to be
I agree.
flexible, I think flexibility is really big in any business, but especially with coaching, because we're working with people, and that is not something you can fold and put in a drawer,
Cannot.
label, and define in categories that will always stay the same. Impossible.
I'm so grateful that you said that because, I talk to a lot of coaches that are relatively new and they come to me and most people you have an idea of the
Mm-hmm.
direction that you want to go. And I tell people all the time, okay, so but until you've really been coaching a little bit, you don't really know.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to change. Be open
Yep,
to it changing. And I've
absolutely.
seen so many people come
Hmm.
out of certifications, spend all of this money, hiring people for websites, business cards, branding colors, all this stuff. And then a year later, none of it fits, right? And I always
Yes.
say to people, get the very, very basic stuff because it's going to change. And until you get to that place that's that good seat that's yours, that recliner that no one sits in unless you're not home, until
Mm-hmm.
you get there, you're going to continue to change. It's just not your group yet. And sometimes
Absolutely.
you need to have experiences to get you there. So,
That's it.
what's brilliant about you is that you have embraced that your niche is wide, like it's your
It
avatar
is.
is wide, and there's nothing wrong with that,
Yes.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Some people come out thinking they need to automatically hone in, but that's not true. You just
Mm.
need to coach. You need to put your voice out
Exactly.
there because it's your voice is attracting the people to you.
Mm.
And that authenticity that you talked about is everything. Some people pick up certain oh, I want to be this kind of coach, and they think to themselves because that coach makes money. Well,
Mm-hmm.
that worked for them because that's who they are. But
That
you have
comparison
it.
game, that comparison game is a killer. Like
Yeah.
another thing that I know you and I, we talked about this, and again, during this beautiful conversation today, I want to say this one more time. Please don't compare yourself to anybody else. By
Don't.
doing this, there's so many wrong ideas that can come out, and they can only affect negatively what we do. Following the industry, yes. Doing research, yes. Looking at what other people are doing in terms of staying on top of current trends, yes. But thinking that, oh my God, she has 2,000 followers and I have 200. So that is your
Right.
path. If
Right.
you want to have more followers, choose your own way. Also, I would always, take 200 dedicated followers to 2,000 on paper that don't really engage. So there's so many variables in this.
Correct.
But another thing which I believe is very important to point out here is that in the current age we live in, and being the astrologer I am, I have to say that now with Pluto in Aquarius, and that's a huge transit affecting all of us. One aspect of this in the next 20 years will teach us all that knowledge is the new currency. So we step into a
Oh, love
time
that.
the traditional models of education are changing. More and more people will choose different ways, self-studying, be it online, working with a private mentor, teacher, coach, homeschooling. People are really exploring alternatives. So the world needs knowledge, and we don't have to be experts with 3 PhDs to deliver that knowledge, because there is always someone out there. There's always a specific group of people who need advice and help with the kind of experience we've been through. So it's a matter of identifying what the value we can offer and find one of the many ways to package this in the form of service.
Right.
Start like in little increments, sharing, trying to see how people respond. And then if we think that coaching is in our heart, we should definitely think of turning this into a full-time occupation. But there is another thing to keep in mind here. In order to see the 100% success we all desire, we need to put 100% of the work. I know some coaches complaining of things not working very well, but I know at least two of them who treat their businesses as a hobby, like spending few hours a week on it. So the results they get back are kind of hobby size results as well.
Of course. Yeah.
So there is a lot coming with that territory. We have to, we have to say no to so many things that other people do that work on a normal schedule.
That
But
is correct. Yeah.
in moments like that, what's really important is to remember the why. Okay. And I know I'm not saying anything new, but it's a great reminder, which is always valid. Like motivation matters, right? So
Yes.
why we want to do this? Why? Because we want freedom, because we want to do something different, because we want to serve people, we want to be change makers, we want to inspire others, we want to make money, we want to be location independent. There's so many reasons that can help us get through those moments when the question of what was I thinking starting this comes for all of us, right? But then
Right.
there are other ways and other reasons to bring us back on track. And I'd say also here that you mentioned it earlier, and it was amazing, so valuable to say that for new coaches. Please don't wait until you think you're 100% ready. 100% ready never happens. We learn as we
It's
go.
not.
We need the level of preparation that allows us to feel comfortable and have some process in place, which is usually the so-called onboarding process. So we can bring people in and be professional in terms of enrolling them, offering our services, collecting payments, working uh, professionally again, but not expecting to know it all, to figure it all out, because like you said, by the time we figure everything, something else is already, the fad, the trend. So we are falling behind anyway. It's
Right.
all done at the same time.
At the same time. Yes.
Yeah.
That's so
And
true.
and that's why it's so
That's
demanding,
life,
but
right? Because
it's also
life
so
is gonna roll
rewarding.
along.
It's also so rewarding. And if I may also
True.
share something else, which I know is 100% true for myself and for other people I talk to, including coaches. When we are solopreneurs, our business activity is the extension of ourselves. Our business reflects who we are and the state in which we are as a person, as an individual. Again, if we operate and work in a big company, the company has its own face and energy because it has 1,000 employees. But having your own business means making sure that everything inside is in some kind of state of a relative, peace and balance. Because if we're struggling with worrying, with anxiety, with constant fear about how things gonna turn out, this gets projected and reflected into our business style. We might feel not very comfortable talking to people, trying to hide from exposure online and being visible and really stepping into the spotlight when it comes to talking about what we do, or people can sense a bit of desperation when we're trying to sign up someone. So it's so important to coach ourselves on a daily basis, to be our own clients, in terms of reminding ourselves that we are powerful, that these are different things that we need to learn as we go, but making sure we come across confident and really believing, walking our own talk. This is the way to convince people that we can also help them, right?
Yes.
And for more experienced coaches, I'd say that it's very important to treat ourselves not just as coaches, but as CEOs of our own business, because we are business owners. We can be coaches, we can be natural teachers, and we can be so useful to everyone in our personal circle. That's still coaching. But when it comes to being a business owner, again, the CEO approach and identity that we need to develop is so important because we have to make so many decisions. And with each decision, we get more empowered. May not be the perfect decision, but we learn. That brings maturity, that brings a sense of discipline, responsibility, and it makes the victory even sweeter when we make it.
Couldn't have said it better. You actually answered the next two questions I was going to ask you anyway.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's
Well,
good. That's good
sorry.
because it should just flow, right?
Yeah, because
Angelika,
we're
thank you
talking about
so much
how
for
we
today.
should,
Today has
yes.
been absolutely fantastic. Um, Please tell everyone how can they find you?
Well, my website is like my name, angelikamativ.com. I do offer a program which is 3-month one-on-one work together on every step of the way, including that journey through the modalities I talked about. Then I offer some individual services as well, but definitely with an opportunity for people going on my website to click on a button and book a free discovery call where we can meet and just talk and see if we're a good fit to work together.
Right.
Like
And
we
I will
said, that's
definitely link
so important.
website.
Yes.
Yeah.
I also have a Facebook group, which is called Evolved Astrology Club, where I have a community of like-minded people and I present live talks, videos, and different posts and information
Very active.
related to everything I do. Yes. And of course, by email. So if you have my contact info, if some links can be added to our talk, people will know how to reach me. But I'm open and I'm so glad always to meet with those who truly want to understand something new, including the options to work together and how this can help them. Again, no strings attached, just connecting, talking, see what can come out of this. And I also teach astrology as well from that evolved perspective I mentioned. And that's another opportunity for those who really want to see how this whole astrology, holistic approach, psychology thing works together so they can actually learn and be their own astrologers or help others. So there are plenty of things that I love doing and
Great.
I keep expanding, and adding. But
Yeah.
again, most important, I love meeting with new people. And that's why I'm so grateful for this invitation, Kim, because I know that everything we shared today was very authentic, and your audience is exactly the type of audience I wanted to share these thoughts that are always in my mind, when it comes to understanding the journey. So
Yes.
it was amazing.
Yes, thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. Everyone, the links are going to be here, and this is going to be posted everywhere. Hopefully, you'll see it all over the place. I'm hoping that people get bombarded with this video on
Well,
every social
and,
media platform.
and
If you get
I
it a lot, that means you need to really listen.
well, yes, I hope that'll be what people will do. I also wanted to say that anything you have in mind as future talks, events, I love working with you, in
Beautiful.
our one-on-one sessions, but also with to be part of anything you do because it's amazing. You provide so much value. Coaches are lucky to be in your community and to have you keep sharing this with the people I know so they can join you and get access to everything you have to offer. So if you have any future events or talks, please let me know. I'd
I
be
will
happy to
definitely do that.
participate. And I'd love to answer also questions if people would like to know more about what we shared today. So
Yes.
let's keep doing this because we love coaching. Coaching is not just this, okay, tell me what to do. Coaching is a
No, it's
reason to
not.
be proud of being on a mission And it truly has so many different aspects to it. It's noble, it's beautiful, it's transformative, and it's definitely the profession, of the future. So, to
Great.
all of your followers, from all my heart, I wish the best of luck. Believe in your success, love what you do, and the rewards will come because it's a blessing. So,
And to
thank you
everyone,
so
thank you
much.
so much. Thank you, Angelika. Thank you, everyone, for being here with us today. And I'm looking forward to seeing you again real soon. If you have any questions at all, please reach out. And just know this has been brought to you by My Coach Office. It is a great platform to help you be organized as a coach. All right, we'll be talking to you soon, everyone. Take care.